Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. It's Saturday, a beautiful Saturday with a lot of calcio. Today we will not speak about Atalanta, Juve. We will not speak about the probable lineups. Why? Because this morning, quite early, there was the press conference of Max Allegri where he spoke about everything and nothing, but not about the men that will go on the field tomorrow. Why? Because the journalists were not interested on the field. They were speaking about other topics. And that's what we will do in today's video that might be a bit longer, but we'll speak about a lot of topics, about the future of Juventus. So I'm sure that you will be interested in the different topics that we will talk about. Giuntoli, the one, the name, the face that is on every single page at the moment. We'll continue speaking about a possible name for the bench of Juve, Raffaele Palladino, that is not on the pages, but soon will be, I can guarantee you that. Then, of course, recap of the words of Max Allegri in press conference. Why? Speaking about that before Mercato, because the consequences of the game of tomorrow, that is capital, that is crucial, that is important, will also tell us if yes or no Juventus can finish in that top 4 to think about Mercato, because you know it, top 4 means different players. And at the end, of course, we will speak about the possible names, because yesterday a lot has been said, a lot has been written about Juventus Mercato. Starting with a maximum of like if you want to, continuing with subscribing to the channel if you didn't yet. Guys, I was watching the live count of the subscribers. We are at 24,910 as I'm recording. We are missing 90 Juventini to reach 25,000 Juventini on the channel, which is exceptional. Thank you for all the people that are deciding to continue to give me a lot of trust. We start immediately opening Tutto Sport with a big title. Juve Napoli ricomincia da Giuntoli. Juve Napoli, we start again from Giuntoli. Why start it again? Because this season, unfortunately, we know it. We lost 5-1 in their home. We lost 1-0 in our home. But most importantly, we lost the Scudetto against Napoli. Well, Giuntoli could potentially try again Juve Napoli, but this time not with the Partenopei, but with the Bianconeri, with the one from La Vecchia Signora. Because as Angel Di Maria said it when he arrived at Juve, la Juve è la Juve. Juventus is Juventus. Even if there is the possibility for him to open a winning cycle in Italy and trying to compete in Europe, well, when Juventus calls you, you go to Juventus. That's what he will try to do. And like Tutto Sport is saying, the next few days will be really important to understand if yes or no he could leave, because he could meet Aurelio De Laurentiis. A lot of other sources and important sources like Di Marzio, like Michele Cricitello, for example, journalists that are really inside Napoli. They really understand the reality of what's going on with the Azzurri. Well, they are all speaking about the fact that that meeting already happened, that Giuntoli already has a kind of agreement with Juventus, that De Laurentiis is not even against the fact of letting him leaving 1 year before the end of the contract. Of course, without giving him bonuscita, the bonus for the good works performed at Napoli, because we repeat, Giuntoli is already there at 8 years at Napoli. I know that we are persons, we are humans, and we love to analyze the last moment, the trendy one. And if we are looking at the last moment of Giuntoli at Napoli, he did fantastic things, replacing Mertens, the captain Insigne, Koulibaly, with unknown players like Kim Min-jae, like Kvaratskhelia, Raspadori, Simeone. These kind of players is fantastic because he brought the Scudetto back in Napoli after 33 years. So we are all excited. We are all dreaming about Giuntoli being able to redo and repeat what he did at Napoli with Juve. We have to analyze everything, and that's important. Before jumping on the Giuntoli train, let's try to analyze the 360 degree. Giuntoli did fantastic things at Napoli, not only because if you go back in his first team at Carpi, where he stayed 6 seasons starting as a sporting director, well, he stayed there, taking a team from the 3rd division in Italy and bringing it to the 1st division in Serie A, an exploit. Maybe not as glamorous as winning the Scudetto, but that was already a really sign that he is the man that is able to do miracles. Miracles with Carpi, miracle with Napoli, because he did a lot, and we know it. Of course, not everything in these 8 seasons at Napoli went fantastically well. Well, Gattuso is the name that he brought at Napoli, for example, and Gattuso, at the moment, is not one of the best coaches in the world. Failed, some players that he failed, some successes where they failed, not able to qualify to Champions League 2 seasons ago, and so on and so on. So Giuntoli is a man that did fantastic things, but also has some flops, as everyone, because everyone is able to succeed and to flop. Now, what is important is that Giuntoli is really conscious about the fact that a sporting director alone is nothing, because a sporting director alone is not able to do all these kind of miracles. He needs a team around him, and that's why one of his requests to leave Napoli and to join Juve would be to take some men next to him, some men that are at Napoli. We're speaking about his right hand Maurizio Micheli, one that is a real great person that helped him a lot. He's looking also for the scouts of Napoli to bring them back, and that's possibly one of the problems for Giuntoli at Juve, because De Laurentiis is not stupid. He said, I'm okay to let you leave because I have great person at the club that can possibly take your succession, but that you take all of them with you, here we have a problem. He's also thinking about Stefano that is at Cesena, that could possibly go with him. So Giuntoli at Juve, everyone is speaking about it. Can we start believing it? Yes, because it's a priority for Juventus to start with a sporting director. There is a deadline, 20th of May, because Juventus is already late. Usually you start building a season in January, February. That's where you start planning the next season in terms of Mercato, the players that you want, the strategy. We are already in the month of May. So Juventus needs to accelerate. Giuntoli, now that he won the Scudetto with Napoli, will have to accelerate. Let's see. There is, of course, a B plan. We are speaking about the one that is at Sassuolo, that is doing quite well. We spoke already about him. He could be the B plan. Why? Because he already was at Juventus for 3 seasons when he was taking care of the youth academy. The good friends of Allegri. That's also the one that launched Allegri as a coach. Allegri would be keen to work again with Rossi from Sassuolo, that was in the past also at Cagliari. The good thing there is that he has no contract anymore at the end of the season. Not because the club doesn't want to renew him, because that's how it works. Always with 1 year of contract to show to the club. At the end of the year, we discuss again if we want to start and continuing working together. Anyway, my idea is at the moment that Giuntoli is really close to the Bianconeri. By the way, speaking about Bianconeri, he finished his career as a player at Savona, that was already a Bianconero team. You never know, the colors can match. Anyway, we continue with the next step, because after the sporting director, you have the coach. And it's always like that, not reverse, not the coach that is deciding for the sporting director. It's the sporting director that is deciding for the coach. And we will come back on these words when we will speak about Max Allegri in press conference today. But 3 days ago, I spoke about the possibility to see maybe in the list of monitored coach Paladino. I didn't tell you he will be the coach of Juve, but there is a possibility while nobody was speaking about it, because there was something strange. He doesn't renew at the moment with Monza, where he's doing exceptionally things, where he will remain in Serie A with Monza, where Galliani really wants him to stay at Monza. It's also his first experience as a coach. He started in 21-22 as a youth academy coach, and now he's in the first team since, remember, the day before the game of Juve where we lost. Well, Paladino apparently today in Monza news this morning quite early, they were saying he will not renew with Monza because there is a club behind him. Of course, I opened the article to read it, and they're saying that Juventus is chasing Paladino. Can Paladino become the coach of Juventus 23-24? Well, I would not exclude it. I was already feeling it, and I spoke about it on the 3rd of May. We are on the 6th, and we start having these small voices, also from Fabio Ravezzani, that is saying a lot of people are telling me that Paladino can be the coach. And it's not like people, it's really important people that are really well informed about what's going on. Will Juventus try to repeat the strategy that they did with Conte, that had not a lot of experience in Serie A before taking back Juve 2011, 2012? Will they try also to give another chance to a young coach like they did with Pirlo? Well, pay attention, because he has great stats this season. Since he took over from Monza, thank you to Uncle Sharma that did a beautiful recap for me, well, Monza got 43 points. In the same periods, the same points as Milan, while Roma got 44, Inter 45, and Atalanta 41. So outstanding work, like my friend Uncle Sharma was saying. It's not a mystery that he became the coach, the best coach of the month in the month of April. Paladino, ex-Juve player, a few years ago, when he met again Luciano Moggi, said, "What a pleasure to see you again, Luciano Moggi." Well, he will not be sporting director Paladino, but he knows really well how it is. A good news, if Paladino becomes a coach, and guys, I didn't promise you, I didn't tell you that he will become, you know, there is still Zidane, Conte, they're speaking about a lot of names, but anyway, Allegri, don't forget about Allegri. But if Paladino becomes a coach, there is a good thing. There is a good thing because he said not long time ago, Rovella, he can be the future of Italian football. You know that he's coaching Rovella. Rovella is a player that in the summer will come back to Juve. Of course, we have to pay attention because the ones that are taking charge at the moment of Juve, and it's not yet Giuntoli or Rossi or whatever, well, they are thinking maybe to swap Rovella plus cash for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. I don't know if you did yet, but please comment. Would you do it? Rovella plus cash for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic? Of course, if Rabiot leaves. Or keeping Rovella with Paladino that know him really, really well, let me know. Press conference of Max Allegri. I will not recap everything, but the important points. You know that there is the risk of losing a lot of youth players for the Under-20 World Cup that will be played in Argentina. Well, disaster. I don't know how they build up the calendars. It's a disaster because a lot of teams will lose some young players. And if you are counting a lot on your youth academy, the next-gen players, well, you have a problem. Who are in the possible list of departure? Soule, and he will leave after the game of Cremonese to join his national team of Under-20 in Argentina. He said it at Max Allegri today. Yes, he's keen to go, so we already found an agreement with the club. Ealing Jr. that could possibly go to with England. He stays at Juventus. Shows also that Ealing Jr. could possibly play an important role in the last games of the season with Juventus. What about Miretti? Well, at the moment, there are no interest in Miretti, or at least there is no request. Could arrive, and that could be a real big problem. Anyway, then he spoke about something important, because yesterday Fabiana Della Valle, she started again with, there is Giuntoli on the list of Allegri, of Juventus as being the sporting director, but Allegri is not really keen because he prefers Rossi. He doesn't want Giuntoli. Today, Allegri in press conference, he said, well, wait. I repeat and I'll explain, I am the coach. I am not the one that is taking care of choosing the sporting director. This is the club that is doing it. And from the moment that the club has found or chosen one, they will inform me, really explaining how the structure is working. And that's the perfect structure. Sporting director and then the coach and then the other things. Not the way around, otherwise we have problem. But he also said, what about these voices? Well, I have to be concentrated on the next 30 days that are crucial and important. After this, on the 5th of June, the club will think about all the future plans at 360 degrees. Players, sporting directors, and so on and so on. Well, I believe that's really an important one. The club, the team, the players, all of them needs to follow the objective that is qualifying to Champions League through top 4 in Serie A or through winning the Europa League, and then you can start doing other plans. The club is thinking, the club is reviewing at 360 degrees. Allegri, that I feel in the recent day, I am not sure that he can stay, that he wants to stay, that he will be available to stay. Maybe he will, I don't know. But the feeling I have today is that maybe he will leave at the end of the season. We will have to monitor that, guys. But this is something I repeat you since the beginning of the season, and my feeling is still stronger and stronger and stronger. But let's see. I repeat again, until Max will be the coach of Juventus, he will have my maximum of support because he is a bianconero. Like, I will support all of them if they think first about the team before their individual objectives. That's important. That's what I want to see. Today will be a decisive game, like Gazzetta dello Sport is saying, because qui si fa la Champions today. Inter, Milan, Roma, and Lazio will all play against each other, and we will discover how much Juventus will need to do points to qualify to the next Champions League. Today a big game of football. Capital League, this is how Corriere dello Sport is calling them, because again, those teams will play against each other. The Roma against the Milan teams. Anyway, we speak about players for the future. I told you if we qualify to Champions League, it will be much easier to attract some players. Like, for example, Pau Torres, that we already spoke about yesterday, on the target list of Juve. But of course, Champions League is important, is crucial if you want to attract these kind of players. Not only that, because we already said it, Cuadrado will leave Juventus at the end of the season. Well, who can replace him? Barbieri is taking in high consideration of Juventus, but if Giuntoli would join, well, Zannoli, that is on loan at Sampdoria for Napoli, could possibly follow him. That's the second name on the list for the right back position. That will be a cheap cost, because we want to invest the money on something else, and also because we have to deal with the returns of Arthur, Zakaria, probably McKennie, if Leeds is not able to avoid relegation. So players that we know it are still property of Juventus. There is the risk that Ealing Jr. becomes the new Coman, because there are a lot of interest from Premier League on the player. Aston Villa, Chelsea, and so on and so on. Newcastle. Well, Juventus, they really want at the moment to keep Ealing Jr. And that's also why they don't want to let him go with the under-20 with England, because it's a player that they want to show him in the last part of the season. We count on you, and we want you to show you that you are considered a real first-team player. Anyway, that was, I told you, a longer video. I hope you enjoyed it. Put a maximum of like. Let's try to reach as soon as possible the 25,000 Juventini on the channel. You know, there is only one thing you can do: subscribing and sharing the channel with your Juventini friends. Grazie, forza, Juve.